Alright people, so one of the things I'm working on today is I'm going to make some drawer dividers for this drawer. Some of the things you're going to need for this project are, I bought some 2.5 by 5.5 by 36 inch, or I'm sorry, 0.25 inches by 5.5 inches by 36 inches poplar boards from Home Depot. They were a couple of bucks a piece. I bought this cyano acrylic based glue. Says it cures in 30 minutes, so I wanted something that was quick to work with. Make sure that the area is well ventilated wherever you're using this. I'm going to set up a big fan to have it blow the fumes away from me, and I'm out in the garage with the door open. Something to mark with, something to measure with, and I would also highly recommend a square so that when you're marking your distances, you make sure you get it nice and square. You want everything to fit together nicely. So I bought the 5.5 inch deep boards because these drawers are about 6 inches deep, so it's just going to be about a ½ inch below the drawer line. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure my distance back this way and then cut the board to length there. So I've got my measurement. Make sure you measure twice, make sure you got an accurate measurement. Come through, mark that on your board using your square so you have a nice straight and perpendicular line. And then I'm going to go cut this with a hacksaw. I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so I've made my cut with the table saw. The hacksaw, and a table saw probably would have been better for that, but it's very thin wood, easy to cut, and it's kind of raining today. I don't want to risk getting my table saw out, getting it wet. The next thing I'm going to do is take a bit of sandpaper with a sanding block. This was already stuck to it. I think it's going to work well, so I'm just going to just kind of smooth out this edge a little bit. This is obviously a drawer that's going to be holding clothes and everything. I want that to be snag-free. I don't want it snagging up any of the clothes that are going to go in the drawer. So I'm just going to kind of clean up this edge a little. And then I'm going to take and see if it fits where it needs to fit. And actually I've cut it just a little bit too long, so I'm going to take a few moments and just work some of the material off of this edge until it just barely slides down into where I want it to slide down into. So as you can see, after about 2 or 3 minutes of just a bit of light sanding, it fits right down where I need it to fit. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this measurement and divide it by 3 because I want to have 2 dividers like this. So I have 3 channels. So I'm going to do that, and once I've done that, I'm going to make a mark on the board where it's going to go, and then I measure from that mark perpendicular over here, and probably use the square to make sure that I'm getting an accurate measurement as that goes across. And what I mean by that, let's take the square, place it like so, and kind of put this in there as well, and then that'll give me my measurement like this. So I'll go ahead and do that and get my next piece ready to cut. So again, I have my measurement. I'm going to go cut that. I'll be back to test fit it. So actually I've made an error in my measurement, and what that is I forgot to account for the thickness of the poplar board that's sitting back behind here. So I'm going to have to move that over by the thickness of the board and make one more cut. Learn from my mistakes. Don't do the same thing. So I've got this drawer divider done. I've now measured and marked this board. I'm going to cut it and get that one ready. Okay, so you've got your back piece cut out and your 2 slats to go in the middle cut out. The next thing I'm going to do is to kind of stabilize it, because this is rounded or kind of curved on the front of my drawer. I can't really add a piece in the front to kind of hold everything together. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to cut little triangular pieces to kind of go here. I'm going to make them a few inches wide as I can get away with the scrap wood that I have. That way it'll kind of stabilize them and keep them from, moving too much this way or that way inside of the drawer. I'm not sure how well you can see the pattern I've drawn on there, but that's how I'm going to accomplish the corner pieces that are going to stabilize it. This is 5.5 inches here, so I've just measured 5.5 inches this way, drawn a diagonal line right between the two, and I'm going to cut these 2 pieces out. Alright then, so the next step is to place this onto a flat surface and make sure you've got your marks lined up where you want it to be, where you want your boards to come together. And you're going to take your square and make sure everything's square where it needs to be. And you want everything to be perpendicular and straight. You don't want it to be all crooked and everything. So right there is where that's going to go. It probably wouldn't be a good idea, or a bad idea, I should say, to make a scribe mark right where you want that to be. So maybe instead of putting the board there first, put your square, give yourself a scribe mark here. There we go. Then apply your glue. Hopefully this sets quite quickly. You want to have something that sets quickly for this process because you don't want to be sitting here holding it for the next 3 hours, obviously. So I'm hoping that the CA type of glue dries pretty quickly. I know they have really fast drying CA glues. I'm not really sure if this is one of them or not, but we're about to find out. So I'm going to set that into position. I'm going to come back with my square and one more time make sure that it looks like it's square and in position, and it does. And then I'm going to apply glue to the edges of my triangular piece and get that in here as well before the glue begins to dry, because obviously once it starts to dry, you're not going to be able to get this into the position that you want. And actually, yeah, that's already beginning to bond. Wow, that was super fast. And that's pretty much it. Just make sure you get everything square and level and where you want it. And allow that glue to make a good bond. And you're ready to roll. I'll show you the finished product once I get done doing this. This is going to be kind of difficult to do while making a video. So yeah, I've actually only held this in place for about 2 or 3 minutes, and you can see that it's already strong enough to lift the wood up. I don't want to do that too much, just because, like I said, I want it to make a good bond. But I just wanted to illustrate, you know, that it does bond actually very quickly, this CA glue. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other part, and give that some time to cure up. Probably come back and give it another bead of glue along the seams, just to be sure that it's made a good bond and make sure it's going to hold everything together. So after just a few moments of gluing and setting, this is what we have. We have both of the drawer verticals in place and have the triangular pieces holding them together. I'm just going to kind of set it down this way to let it dry. And then again, like I said, I'm going to come back and put some beads of glue along the seams just to give it a little bit of extra glue to hold everything together. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Just apply a little more glue. So this is what I have for the finished product. Make sure you leave it outside to cure if you're using that CA glue. That stuff is pretty caustic and can cause asthma and a lot of other respiratory issues, allergic reactions, things like that. So let it cure overnight. Make sure it cures nice and good. Make sure it's not off-gassing any longer before you bring it in the house. But yeah, there you go. You've got yourself a nice drawer divider. You can obviously lay these out in any pattern you want. Make as many of the dividers as you want. You can put dividers between dividers to give it you know, more compartmentalization. However, this is all the wife requested. She just wanted 3 different slots to put things in. That's what she got. So make sure you check out the rest of my channel. I've got a lot of other how-to videos on how to work on the cars, things around the house, things of that nature. And if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Also subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.